backlight mods for the Game Boy Color have been around for a while now, and although they have been great and for many people have been the perfect way to enjoy Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, they haven't been flawless. Today, we're going to be looking at a readily available mod, which not only is easy to install, but uses a modern IPS screen, which will give us great viewing angles, vibrant colours, and most importantly, a full-size screen. Big thank you to Retro Modding for supplying me with the parts, and a shout out to John for lending me the Game Boy. Let's start by disassembling the Game Boy Color. This is done using a tri-wing screw bit. Links to the electric screwdriver and the kit I use will be in the description. Remove the 6 tri-wing screws from the back of the shell and lift off the back housing. Then remove a further 3 Phillips screws from the motherboard and unhook the ribbon cable. Inside the kit that Retro Modding have sent me is obviously the screen itself, a 3D printed bracket to align everything, some double-sided adhesive foam which I didn't use, and the ribbon cable, which does all of the magic, with a touch sensor pre-soldered. We'll need to ensure everything works, so let's just plug it all in. Retro Modding have sent me this really high quality transparent black shell, which will really finish this off nicely. Attach the screen to the ribbon cable and pop in some batteries. Everything should look like this. Now it's time to trim the shell. Although this video has not been sponsored, I will be earning affiliate money from the links in the description, so it's obviously in my best interest to sell as much as possible. Cutting the shell is not difficult. You just have to follow the guide which Retro Modding have made. Cut it with a knife and use some cutters and take some time. However, for the sake of a little bit extra money, getting a pre-cut shell is something I would highly recommend. If you're going to be spending all the money on this anyway, getting a shell that's been cut to perfection using CAD and CAM is probably worth it, but I'm no cutting expert and I managed it, so take that for what it's worth. Once I knew that the screen fitted well, I wiped my fingerprints off from the back of the screen and covered it in Kapton tape. Drop the ribbon cable into place and connect it to the screen and secure it down with some more tape. There's a small chip on the top of the ribbon cable which, if bent, will break very easily and stop everything from working. Next up, remove the adhesive from the back of the copper tape and stick it wherever you want. If everything has been cut well, the included 3D printed bracket will secure everything with no glue required. I will also be using a glass screen lens and fitting it now to protect the display. The buttons I will be fitting are not anything immediately special. But where it does get interesting is the start and select buttons, which Retro Modding have custom molded. It even has their logo on it. I'll put all of them in place and use some brand new rubber membranes to ensure consistent and reliable button pressing, and everything is starting to take place. We're going to have to smoothen the motherboard by removing the pins from the cartridge connector. If we do not do this, they will puncture the ribbon cable. Take your time cutting these pins and cover everything in a lot of Kapton tape, including the ribbon cable, just to be safe. Take this final opportunity to clean the motherboard with some Q-tips and isopropyl. I was recommended a syringe to drop IPA into the switches and potentiometers, however I obviously got a one because it blasted all over my face. After wiping my face clean and the table, it's time to screw the motherboard back into the shell. Put the back of the shell on the Game Boy and screw it together. And to finish this whole thing off, I'll be using rechargeable batteries and an EverDrive X7, which has my whole games library condensed onto one micro SD card. The cherry on the top is a neoprene sleeve, which will keep the whole thing snug and safe. So out of the Ultimate Game Boy mods that we've done so far, this one comes in at the cheapest. So it's $11.99 for the shell, plus $9.99 for the recommended CNC trim, $1.99 for the buttons, and $2.99 for the silicone start and select that we looked at. $1.99 for the silicone D-pad and action buttons, $49.99 for the IPS screen mod, and finally $4.69 for the glass lens. So that comes to a total of $83.63, which is around £64. Plus $20 to $30 for your Game Boy Color, and this thing is coming in at around $100 and £80, which is pretty damn good. All in all, I think that was a pretty easy mod. Realistically, if you buy the pre-trimmed shell, everything is just plug and play. There is no soldering required, the touch sensor is already soldered for you, and it's just a case of assembling it. If you don't want to do all of this, or you think it's outside of your level of expertise, Retromodding do sell pre-modded consoles, so check out their website. So here is the console. This IPS screen is absolutely beautiful. The colors on it are absolutely insane, and the viewing angles are off the scale. As I mentioned in the previous video, these screens are all pretty much the same. So the Game Boy Advance SP, the Game Boy Advance, and now the Game Boy Color mod are all using these same IPS screens. So everything that we looked at in those videos is still relevant for this screen. There's nothing that's going to be particularly different with this. The only thing that's really differentiating the two or the three mods that are existing right now is the ribbon cable. The buttons that Retromodding sent me are great. As I mentioned, the colored buttons aren't anything particularly new. Colored buttons have been around for quite a while, but what is new is the fact that they have custom molded the silicone start and select buttons, which really just finishes it all off so nicely. You've got the orange power button on the side. It's a very understated, simple device. I kept the sticker off the back because I really like being able to see the label of the game that I'm playing. You can see there the colors just look absolutely ridiculously good, and the viewing angles as well are insane. Obviously there's going to be a little bit of glare, but generally speaking the viewing angles are incredible. Look at those colors, very accurate color representation. The screen pixel density is far better than the AGS 101 screen. I believe it's like quadruple the pixel count, so you're going to get a far sharper image. It's also going to have better colors because it's a modern IPS display. It's easier to obtain and costs less than the AGS 101 screen. There's not really a lot else to say other than this thing is just the perfect Game Boy Color. There is nothing I would change. The black shell is just a very nice touch. It's obviously not a common color, although I do believe there was a transparent black shell released in Japan for some exclusive reason. It wasn't super easy to fit everything just because of the fact that you had to remove some plastic yourself. Everything looked to be okay and was working fine when I just test fitted it, but when I put the whole thing together there was a few issues. The D-pad, for example, was getting trapped on the bottom of the screen, and also the touch sensor wasn't working. But after realigning those, everything is working seamlessly. It is definitely going to be a case of the more time you spend on this, the better results you're going to get. Let me know what you think of the Ultimate Game Boy Color in the comment section below. If you have enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Check out Retromodding, big shout out to them. I'll catch you guys all in the next video. Peace.